Esports, the team that failed in the finals of spring. They failed in the playoffs of summer. They only just barely made it through Gauntlet. Now they're in Game 5 against RNG.
Thank you, Busan. A lot of cheers and support for RNG. They're not done yet, but it's that added weight, that added pressure on the shoulders of this squad to step up in Game 5 when everything is on the line.
The LPL fans are certainly some of the most dedicated in the world, traveling everywhere to these different events. You saw them at All-Stars in LA, you see them at Worlds in Korea, you see them following their team, supporting their teams, and they're trying to give RNG that boost they need to take down G2 in Game 5, which is crazy to say. I mean, G2 has been playing incredible.
And I love this time around the RNG group up in that front.
Not again!
No more level ones, no more. Just offering that extra bit of safety. G2, though, they take the line of scrimmage. They play more defensively, but already looking for a bit of an invade. And this is so important for Jankos on this Olaf. The champion at Worlds has really fallen off in priority because of how hard it falls off in the later stages of the game. His inability to close the gap against so much mobility that currently exists in the meta has made it very difficult for him to have an impact. So you have to shut down that Nocturne early, you have to deny him farm, deny him levels, and that is how you find advantages.
All right, 2v2 matchup already going ham in the bottom lane. The stun from Wadid's passive comes out. Yonen's taking a lot of autos from Uzi, and in terms of effective HP, it is, of course, Uzi that comes out ahead of Hyonin. If you are just joining us, welcome to the deciding game in the quarterfinal between RNG and G2. Every odd-numbered game has been won by RNG. Every even-numbered game has been won by G2. More importantly, every blue side has been victorious. Hyonin will get that fourth shot down onto Uzi. And of course, if you are just joining us, the bottom lane has been heavily RNG favored all series long because it has been heavily focused time and time again. And for the first time in 5 games, this might just be Jankos coming in. Let's see whether or not they can find the kill. There's the stun onto Uzi. Body block.
He can't get the ward!
Uzi can't pick it up. He's going to go down. Hyonin kills Uzi.
Oh, the heal comes through. Will he walk away with his life? He does. Hyonin gets away with it. He finds first blood onto Uzi, and G2 find the early lead.
Wadid with the insane play there, flash Q exhaust. He drops the ward, it looked like, right onto that lantern. He couldn't click it.
And this is the early game lead we were talking about. Jankos has to make his presence known. He does it in the bot lane, and now Perks trading with Xiaohu in the mid. G2 are saying, we will fight you with aggression. We will build an early lead. RNG fall.
It's supposed to be the opposite. It's supposed to be Ming and Uzi dominating this lane with their members coming down and snowballing it. Instead, Hyonin, not only do they get the kill, he has the first blood this time, and he has the opportunity to carry in a game over Uzi.
And you can't help but feel the temptation from Hyonin to type in all chat and say, not nice to 2v3, is it, my friend? With the amount of ganks and pressure that RNG have thrown down that lane throughout this series, he's finally get some support. Now Jankos has his eyes on mid lane.
All right, Wadid is already roamed. Jankos was waiting in the wings, just outside that Raptor camp. Xiaohu has got flash available to him. He's escaped in time and managed to make it out. While that was going on, up in the top lane, it looked like there was some pressure from MXG, but here's the replay.
So here it is one more time. Q flash from Wadid right over top. And look at this. Uzi turns around to get level 2 off the minion to level up his spell shield, but he's already been stunned. The ward is dropped. Everyone is stacking on the lantern. He can't click it. He cannot get out. And not only that, how much health did he even have? The heal is late. The minion hits him. It's got to be 1 health.
1 HP!
What is that?
My God, Hyonin!
If that isn't fate, I don't know what is.
If the universe is on Hyonin's side, G2 need to utilize it. They need to get this Jhin further ahead. It is an even goal game. Look at the CS differences. Xiaohu is ahead of Perks. And Uzi, for the time being, has shoved this wave all the way up to Hyonin and Wadid.
And it's really important to remember that for RNG, their composition is extremely strong in the late game. They have the ability to put Rise off on a side lane. He will be able to handle both Aatrox and LeBlanc once he completes 2-3 items. And Sivir, in these team fights, she has that 500 CS win condition for a reason. So the responsibility falls on G2 to find these early leads. And so far, in the mid and top, things are actually very even for RNG.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're talking about a 500 CS win condition, and you're talking about Uzi, that takes about 10 minutes. So not too much time, but you know, like they are not all in on winning this lane anymore. That is really the biggest point, as you're saying, Betty, is because it's not the Lucian. They do outscale in the team fight damage, and you know, MLXG has been farming fairly well. He is going to have his opportunities to try to turn this lane around, especially post 6.
And of course, we have to keep an eye on how MLXG and his decision-making with his team composition impacts the game. The 4 previous games have been very heavily defined by focus and involvement around the bottom lane. MLXG with this draft is not necessarily going to do that, but he still can if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, and just how he is thinking about this game mentally, right? You're coming in Game 5. You didn't get to play any of the warm-ups. He is known for his super aggressive play. Will he still stick with that style? Or do you play a more measured game? Do you play it more defensive when you know one mistake means my team goes home?
I feel like MLXG is the kind of player that doesn't know how to turn off his aggressive button, especially when you think back to the group stages. This guy was diving between 2 turrets at level 6. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do once he hits that level 6 mark. But so far, Jankos has done a good job at kind of keeping the pressure onto him. Jankos now level 5, has the boots completed as well. Will have the red buff to go and pick up, and where will he look to make a play next? Because, you know, you talked a little bit about it as LG solo lane. Xiaohu on this rise. He's farming extremely well right now. The fact that, like, LeBlanc doesn't have to dominate laning phase this early on, but the fact that he still has that threat of moving off into a side lane later, being able to hold both a LeBlanc and an Aatrox is still a big deal for RNG, even if they are at this small early deficit.
You can see Uzi and Ming have already left the lane. They've shoved it up time and time again. Uzi sitting with the double long swords and that fairy charm, as we've seen multiple times this series already. And once that wave went out, just looking for a play. Also something that we've seen RNG very frequently, grouping up to try challenge for vision and moving into G2 jungle.
And I just think it's good play because they're not actually losing any of the minions. They get back bot in time. They clear out 2 of those pink wards, which does make it a lot more scary, you know, for Perks, not knowing exactly where these members could be coming for, and especially setting up for the eventual MLXG level 6.
I'm keeping my eyes as well on how close MLXG is to that level 6 mark. He has the full top side to be able to clear. Xiaohu as well will be picking up that blue buff relatively soon. Yeah, so there we go, the level 6 mark. Now we keep our eyes on where he looks to go. Top lane, expectations are pretty low. You don't really want to be ganking that Scion lane very much. He may look to try and gank LeBlanc, but with her passive and mobility, that could be difficult. So what I'd like to see from RNG is perhaps Xiaohu pushing up the mid lane, try and gain some priority, and then use his ultimate to set up either a dive bot with the TP from Let Me. Try and do something that RNG have found a lot of success with really in the past.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially when it is that first Infernal. I think you really want to try to make something happen around the bottom lane. If you can get a kill there into an Infernal, that is such a good advantage for you. And you can see right now it's G2 up around the top side, and potentially MLXG could respond.
Oh, that got very, very close.
Yep.
MLXG was able to secure it, but yeah, I also held my breath, waiting to see whether or not Jankos was going to go in on Let Me or not. Dual chains come out from Perks, but they don't hold Xiaohu in place. Therefore, Jankos cannot follow it up. And it is a 300 gold advantage over the first blood, separating these 2 teams as we're getting closer to the 10-minute mark. Death Sentence will find we're dead, although he didn't do a whole lot to try and dodge it, to be fair. Still got access to that Unbreakable, and ultimate's unlocked for everybody in the game. We're getting to the point now where these first big advantages, these first big leads can really start to snowball the game in one direction.
Just a small point to what you were saying, Trevor, about Wadid not making a huge effort to move. Something that, oh, okay, he's just going top lane. Something that Thresh players can actually do while in the laning phase is, once you notice that the AD carry and support are bunched up, if you just throw your hook, you kind of force the support to stay in the same place, because if he moves, you end up in an Afro Cody Sun situation where the AD carry ends up getting hooked, which is not really what you want. So I like the pressure that Ming is applying there, and it kind of forces threatening to back off. He's going to have Yanko's ganking in.
Yeah, of course, without those chains. Oh, the second ones do, though, and Xiaohu goes down. Beautifully played on the mimic there by Perks, as well as Yankov.
Yeah, really well done there by Perks and Yankos. Xiaohu would have had to flash before the chain actually connected to maybe have a chance of getting out, but either way, it's an easy kill for G2 and an advantage now for Perks in that mid lane.
Oh, this is exactly what G2 Esports need and want. Xiaohu was doing such a good job of staying even in that lane. Right now, Wadid decides to go a little bit forward, threatening some sort of follow-up. Jumping to the minion, but look at MLXG with Paranoia available. They're off flashes.
They go!
Yonin and Wadid. Glacial Fisher comes down, and Wadid forced to flash defensively. He will get taken out. Kill secured by Uzi. Yes, Yankos has arrived, but it may not be enough. Yonin's got the curtain call available to him.
Rise ulti.
He needs to. Throws it down. Here comes Xiaohu with the Realm Warp, but the rest of RNG, they're backing away. Now they're waiting for minions. As soon as those minions get up, that's going to be the go button. RNG will not find the time, and G2 disengage.
It's going to be their turret, though, and it's a kill onto Uzi, and you have to think they're going to give him solo gold, as they so often do. They may just rush it, though, to try to get a reset on the play, but nope. Uzi always gets the solo gold, and he is going to be at such a strong point with the kill, with the 600 gold in his pocket as well.
And RNG reclaimed the gold lead. G2's duo was doing fantastic in the laning phase, but the MLXG factor that showed up in the bot side of the map helped secure a kill onto Wadid, forced all the summoner spells out from the G2 duo, and it will result in first tower blood to RNG.
This is a really nice response from G2, though. You know that RNG is going to reset after staying out of the map, taking down that turret. So, hey, you lost the turret, you lost the kill, but you can grab the Infernal, which is going to be so nice for a lot of these G2 members, and especially for Jin, who gets massive amounts of AD through his passive and gets even more from the multiplication.
While that's true, RNG just say, you know what, we'll trade it for a Rift Herald. And the fact that Uzi's already completed the Storm Razor, he's hit a very crucial item spike very early on into the game, means that I don't know if G2 can afford to try and challenge this. So RNG, they get a lot across the map in terms of First Blood Tower, Rift Herald, and they're going to be setting up for the top tier 1.
So if G2 struck first by picking up that kill onto Uzi, the counter punch by RNG has definitely hit harder. It's balanced out the gold deficit. They've got that Rift Herald, which can be utilized to unlock yet another tower. And MLXG, spicy hot pot on that Nocturne. His first use of Paranoia was very effective. Look how much damage Uzi has already gotten onto this top tower, as well as onto Hyonin. The Ricochet and the Boomerang Blade. Uzi is just trying to unlock the map. This is how RNG have won games this series already, by moving Uzi to different points, applying pressure, and forcing G2 to respond.
Yeah, and I'm now looking for MLXG with his ultimate available again and the Rift Herald to try to get a kill into a Rift Herald drop. Because if you can pick someone off and then drop the Rift Herald, you have the potential of getting 2 turrets and a monumental lead.
Where will that happen? That's the question. G2 are looking for a kill themselves, Assail. And MLXG, a quarter of that cooldown has been used. Looking at his placement, he's going to be clearing out the left-hand quadrant of the mini-map, and Wonder's currently pushing very deep into that bottom lane. He's got teleport available. He's about to hit level 11 as well.
But there is a very deep ward behind him that could set up for a potential flank from the side of RNG. While Zhao, who doesn't have it available, it gives a lot of information as to where Wonder is. But we've got to look at Yankos in the top lane.
Whoa!
Nocturne's coming.
Uzi gets caught.
The ward!
The ward's on top of the lantern, and Hyonin kills Uzi again. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. That was unbelievable.
Just too good there from G2. Such nice play, because had he got out with the Lantern, MLXG can turn that around. He can come in with the ultimate and maybe make that play look so different. But twice now, G2 with the quick thinking, dropping multiple wards onto this Lantern. And did he have Spell Shield, or was it just late?
Ooh, I wonder if he did have Spell Shield or not, because he has been using it in lane.
Yeah.
Just to kind of soak up a lot of the spells and kind of keep up the mana. But what I find interesting about this is G2 kind of encouraging those solo queue players to invest in vision, because you can use it to kill players like Uzi.
And of course, while we didn't see Uzi speaking there right now, I can quite confidently hear Uzi saying, "Bring me that Jin's head." And the rest of RNG saying, "Yes, Mr. Uzi, we will do our best." Let's see if MLXG can deliver. As it stands, G2 are 3-1 up in kills. They've got a 500 gold lead. And Hyonin has been the recipient of both of those Lantern kills. If you look at the item differences as well, Perks has got himself the Luden's Echo, and here comes MLXG. He's still got that Rift Herald,
looking.
but Ming's Death Sentence goes wide. The box goes down, Uzi jumps in. Here comes MLXG. Defensive flashes. Jankos has already killed
G2's
Ming.
winning
Now
this.
Jankos, he's turning it back around. Defensive flash from Uzi. Teleport's coming down.
Comes
They're
Perks.
not just to find out. Perks blows up RNG, and G2 win the fight.
It ends up being a 3-0 in favor of G2. And with this early comp that they've drafted, this is the perfect snowball as the crowd erupts for G2 Esports.
Jankos was just in the perfect spot at the perfect time. RNG did not expect the Olaf to be there. They looked for the play, and he shuts it down hard. And then Perks on the roam gets so much from that, now way ahead of Xiaohu.
Being a favorite in this tournament is
He can get
Perks.
more.
Xiaohu may get solo
No way.
killed.
No
Big Mike
way.
is ticking down. One more.
He gets him.
Perks gets the solo kill. 4-0-0. This is his team, and this might be his world.
Welcome Xiaohu to Perks' lane kingdom. It's been a while, but he has reclaimed the throne as he finds a solo kill onto Xiaohu and is 4-0-0 on this LeBlanc.
RNG are starting to fall apart at the seams here, down nearly 3,000 gold now. Here's the play one more time. They just do not know that Jankos is here. Ming goes for the hook, and it's right about now you have to know that things are going to look pretty ugly as Olaf comes around the corner. You can't get back onto the Jin, and Woodid just hops out to safety.
And that exhaust from Woodid was so crucial as well. The fact that MLXG lost so much of the damage with the arrival of Perks on top of that meant that it was a very clean play from G2. And we didn't even notice the interrupt from Wonder in the bot side of the map. The face of Perks as he finds his team their 7th kill against one of the world champion favorites of RNG.
Now, G2 Esports are in a commanding position. They are 2,500 gold up. They have the tools to progress and push this lead forward. But RNG, you cannot understate. They have wave clear, they have scaling, they have initiation, and I am not going to count my chickens before they have hatched. And I need to see how well RNG handle this mid-game. You can see MLXG as well as Xiaohu coming down onto Wonder. He's used the World Ender, and the Realm Warp will cut off that escape route. But here comes Perks. Rune Prison holds Wonder in place. He will start to revive and resurrect.
MLXG!
Just blows up MLXG. Wonder throws down the Infernal Chains. That's going to pull that me backwards. Perks
get away!
the Xiaohu. Wonder's out. Wonder's alive. And Perks is looking for some sort of reply. Now Jankos
comes
trying to
Jankos.
run back down. He's got Ragnarok available to him. Wonder's going to escape with the recall. Now Woodid will find a stun onto Let Me. This is chaos, but it is chaos that is benefiting G2.
6-0-0 for Perks. You give me Perks versus the world, I'm liking his odds. He is looking like an absolute monster in this series, trying to carry G2 to a semi-final.
It was this team that was built around Perks. Sven and Mithy left. Expect and Trick would left as well, and Perks had to rebuild. And now, in this situation where Wonder looks like he's as good as dead, 3 members of RNG collapse. They think they found themselves a pick, but the mid laner comes in for the rescue. He dives onto MLXG and just one-shots him with a single rotation of the combo. And even here, you think there's no way they can win this 2v1, but the damage of an Aatrox combined with a fed LeBlanc is more than enough to allow G2 to get the turnaround.
And tell me this isn't a scared RNG, reaching for kills, trying to find something. 2 flashes, 3 ultimates, all to chase Wonder, and they get nothing.
Unbelievable performance. The 3rd seed coming out of Europe, showing up big time on this stage with only one play style, with only one way to win the game, but it is their game. It is their way. And when G2 have been given the opportunity to do so, they are taking RNG down. RNG was supposed to win it all. We're supposed to complete the Golden Road in 2018. And they are on the cusp of being knocked out at the first hurdle in quarterfinals.
But they still may be able to do it. They're going in on Perks.
All right, Perks is going to use the double dash to get over the wall. Here comes Uzi. The lantern is down, but it's not going to be needed this time around. Yankos escapes with his life. How many summoners blown? Nothing on the side of G2.
And G2's pushing for this mid lane turret. They may be able to knock it down. Perks is low, but he certainly packs a wallop.
He does indeed. The tower will fall. That's the third of the game. G2 Esports extend their gold lead. 5,000 gold up. The first time this organization has made it to quarterfinals, and they are in game 5 with RNG.
And for the vast majority of this, oh, Perks!
So close. The Ignite is ticking. That is not it. Perks is godlike with the help of Jan and Wadid. Now they turn their attention onto Let Me. He's just going to get run down.
The wards.
He finds the answer. The answer is no. A death sentence finds its mark, but it doesn't matter. 11 kills to 1. G2, they are going to do it.
Turn off the nameplates. Tell me who is the favorite. Tell me who is meant to be the world champion.
Busan answered in a resounding G2. That was what I was hearing. Wonder's pushing down the bottom lane, and this lead continues to grow.
And this is just so amazing for Perks, the guy who failed to get out of group stages for 2 years back-to-back, the guy that was considered the best mid laner in Europe for so long. And now, in a game 5 versus RNG, he picks LeBlanc and he solo kills the best player in the world. And now, he has his eyes on another pick.
Well, there we go. This is just going to be a matter of time. Perks is legendary.
Somebody stop this man!
0-1. I hate to quote it, but it is true. Prove yourself and rise. Make them remember you. Push through hell. G2 couldn't advance past the quarterfinals in Europe. And they had to prove it by making the run in the gauntlet, by showing up through play-ins, and every time I look at those player cams, G2 are feeling it. Now, okay, 22 minutes in, they have the lead, they have the vision, G2 have the tools, but they still need to get the Nexus.
Yes, and that's where things can get challenging. While the goal lead is big, the wave clear is still very relevant from the side of RNG. The Baron taking speed is not quick from G2, and while they are feeling confident and ready to make plays and utilizing their pressure well, the risk of the 3-item turnaround from RNG, their ability to team fight, is something that must always be respected.
It certainly has to be, but RNG need to staunch this bleeding. They need to stop the snowball coming out of G2. You need to see calm, calculated play from RNG because they have the composition to win in the late game, but they are so far away from getting there right now. You know, falling down this far, this early, they're down over 7,000 gold. They need to buy, 10, 15, 20 minutes of play where G2 is not taking the Baron, where they're catching up before the scaling even becomes a discussion.
And very fortunately for the side of RNG, the wave clear on the rise, the Sivern, even the Scion and Nocturne to a degree is very effective as long as you do not concede the Baron. We've seen during the course of the group stages how a Scion and a Nocturne can threaten teams that are on Baron. And Vedius, like you said, for G2 it'll take a very long time. So there are opportunities for RNG, but they really haven't made it easy for themselves.
No, and the game is in G2's hands.
Yeah.
It is 100% up to you if you win this game or not. This is not a game that RNG should be able to come back in, and RNG are going to struggle to even find out when they are on the Baron. They're so far away from getting vision, and look at that damage!
Yeah, Ming almost gets blown up from one rotation. That's the go signal for G2 Esports. They're going to start hammering away on this inner turret. While that was going on, Wonder left the bottom lane. He moved away from Let Me and was moving to respond, but that's the 5th tower falling in favor of G2 Esports.
And this is what you have to do with your Perks. You do not try to overcommit. You just dash over, throw out your poke, and then dash back, and you chip away at the health bars of RNG. Force them away from the tower so you can set up these sieges and utilize your gold lead to force RNG constantly on the back foot. Do not give them time to scale because, as Azael was saying, they are just looking to slow the bleeding. They are looking to get to that late game point and rely on their amazing team fighting capability.
Yeah, but look at the mini-map, guys. 3 lanes of waves crashing into inhibitor turrets in favor of G2. They had vision superiority on the left quadrant of the map, and now RNG will get a reprieve. Now RNG will have a moment or two to breathe, but another Infernal Drape will go uncontested to G2 Esports, and that's just going to give them even more tools as we move towards this late game.
I mean, double Infernal for the most fed LeBlanc you've ever seen is just going to make you feel that much worse. When you're in this game as Uzi, everyone's looking at this server saying, it's up to you. You have to carry this.
Yep.
You are considered the best player in the world. You need to be able to take over this game, but you need to build damage. And if you go for the IE here, then Perks is going to be able to one round. If you mistime your spell shield whatsoever, you are going to die instantly from full. But when you're this far behind, you can't afford to go for a Hex Trigger. You can't afford to go defensive, or you'll never win the fight.
G2 cannot afford to make mistakes. They got a 10,000 gold lead. They are on the cusp of the biggest upset in League of Legends history. After one of the biggest upsets in League of Legends history, which just happened 5 hours ago. The two tournament favorites, the teams that were meant to meet in the finals, are potentially being knocked out on day 1 of quarters. G2 Esports, they've got control. Look at the control wards being placed around Baron. Infinity Edge was completed by Hyun in 3-0-4, and Uzi is still working on a component towards his very own. And my question is, where did G2 go? Did they keep pressuring the towers, or did they force the hand for Baron?
I think you have to start threatening Baron. It is slow, but you've got to. I think that with the gold lead they have, they can look to force a fight now, given that Jin is on 3 items. And if RNG try to contest, they should lose. So I think this is a fairly safe
committing
force
to it.
for G2.
All right, let's take a look. How quickly and how effectively did G2 peel? Uzi's got the spell shield and a theoretical lantern that hasn't done a whole lot this game already. Perks jumps in with a Mimic, gets caught up, dash back to the river. He's already killed Ming, blown him up. The Hourglass will buy some time as Amalexi's trying to chase him down. Wonder gets the Infernal Chains onto Uzi, and he's got the Resurrect from the ultimate. All of a sudden, Amalexi's down in a 5 versus 3. They're chasing RNG.
The turn to Uzi!
Who manages to turn it around? The AoE inside the choke point.
Perks is looking.
D2's HP. There's the spell shield popped as the 3rd and the 4th shot are fired. It's a 3-on-3 for now.
The game stands on a precipice. This can decide the entire series right here.
G2 Esports decide not to overchase. The Realm Warp to safety. Uzi and Xiao who show you the power of the AoE.
And what was supposed to be a safe Baron for G2 ends up being an overcommitment, and Uzi saving the fight, and here he is!
All right, Perks manages to interrupt.
He can
2
go
of the
back in.
recall. Now Perks gets caught by a decimating smash. He's able to flash
Here's
and
Yankos.
save. Here comes Yankos. Let me is the man up in the front, but they're going to get a teleport out of Xiaohu inside the Baron pit. This game is far from over, and RNG have not conceded.
Wonder is back alive, does have the teleport, but it looks like that they're not going to keep the fight going. Uzi, he's forced to back, no summoner spells, but that was an even fight for RNG overall. They stopped the Baron from going down. They find themselves 2 kills, and RNG say, we're not completely out of this yet.
Yeah, you had to think this was the fight that will decide the game. This is where G2 will move on to the semifinals. And Perks starts it out well, but does get chunked very low. And you'll see MLXG goes for the shutdown here over onto Perks. A well-timed stopwatch, so just in time there. And then the fight becomes about Uzi. G2 trying to commit forward onto him to take him down, but Uzi and Xiaohu kite back into the corridor.
And this is where all that AoE damage from Uzi can come into fruition. The Scion just tanks up so much damage, Xiaohu has enough shielding, and they act as a strong enough front line so that Uzi can't get collapsed upon, and the 2 big carries of RNG end up turning the fight in their favor. And again, we have to reiterate, this is what we were talking about. They're known as one of, if not the best team fighting team in the world. And if you give them an inch, they will take a mile, even at this kind of a deficit.
And Uzi now has the Infinity Edge, has hit his 3 items on Sivir. So important, especially against a squishy team like this. The ricochets really start to punish your opponents. That being said, there is a window now for G2. No summoners on Uzi. If you can find a fight, if you can take down that Sivir, you can end the game and pull off the upset.
I can tell you right now, Perks doesn't want to find a fight. He wants to play dirty. Catch him when he doesn't know he's coming and just blow him up. 9-0-2. Got himself the Ludens and Morelos, the Hourglass, as well as another needlessly large rod. And off
Scary world out there.
The vision has been contested. RNG have to push into the darkness. You can feel the energy from the Bexcoat and in Busan as there's this buzz. Because yes, G2 are monumentally ahead. 3 Dragons and 10k gold. At 30 minutes, at 35 minutes, at 40 minutes, that gold value becomes less significant as the power of the team composition for RNG begins to scale up and show its true light.
It certainly does, and the further we get into this game, the more it starts to sink in. The monumental achievement that you are so close to here as G2. Win or lose, you will remember this series for the rest of your life.
And
Ming started off again.
history remembers the winners, of course. We'll see who's going to come out advantageous.
Here we go, they're committing. Where is RNG? Can they even get in?
Got no vision.
Perks is eyeing for his target.
All right, Roundwhelp is going to deliver on top of the ward. Lemney's going to make it in. Glacial Fisher comes down from where did. It's a turn in the fight from G2 Esports. That's a good play. Interrupted. Ming stops Perks. Now all of a sudden, Wonder's running for his life. Look at the re-engage from Lemney. Wonder forced to dash over the wall to safety. Xiaohu's killed Wadid in a 10,000 gold deficit. RNG tear the roof off of Busan, and they are winning the fight.
Ming's play may have just saved the game there, playing Perks out of the distortion that would have gotten him onto Uzi. RNG win another fight and buy themselves a new lease on life.
Exactly that, Azael. They even find themselves a kill, and the momentum from G2 is starting to slow down. They were in such commanding control of this game. We've now hit the 30-minute mark, and you can see how much harder it is for Perks. No blind phase checks for RNG. A beautiful sidestep from Ming. And look at the positioning of Uzi on the back line. And keep your eyes
Watch
on
this play.
Ming interrupts Perks as he tries to dive onto the back line. Immediately gets zoned away, and then Wonder is just left to the 5-man unit of RNG.
And that play prevented it not only from hitting Uzi, but also Xiaohu. That would have been both the carries chunked dangerously low, if not just straight up taken out. And we see at least the GA is forced out there. A good job there by Yarnin trying to make the best of a bad situation.
It wasn't just the play to save the day, but it was the play to save worlds.
Yeah.
To save the 2018 Golden Road that RNG are setting their sights on. 4 item spikes are starting to come in across the board as it's 32 minutes in, and G2, they did get their 4th Drake. The next one will be Elda at around 37 minutes.
And you can see Uzi's confidence in his positioning, in his teammates, still not making a stop for any magic resistance. If you play it perfectly, if you can position perfectly, this will pay off. You make one step too far forward, you make one missed spell shield, Perks will kill you from full. The game can end.
But look at the double control wall that's behind the Baron. There is a TP available for Let Me. TP's coming up for Xiaohu.
Here we go again.
G2 are not aware of the vision that RNG have behind them. The TP flank is a real possibility from the side of RNG. And there's enough vision around this Baron area that G2 do not have full control, but
All right, Perks got a little bit caught out there. Lim manages to escape with his life, but Ming is dropped very, very low. They got him! Yangus has got one. Uzi forced to flash away, and Wonder's trying to chase him down. The Infernal Chain will pull him backwards. Darkness comes out from the Paranoia, and the rattling of the AoE from Xiaohu Uzi is melting G2 Esports. Perks is running for his life. The Infernal Chains comes down. It pulls Xiaohu backwards. That's one of the AoE monsters. Yes, G2 got the kill, but man, it felt like they lost the fight.
And G2 are finding these fights harder and harder to win. They only get a single kill onto Ming. They get both summoners out from Uzi, but RNG still stay alive.
Best world's meta ever. RNG in a gigantic gold deficit. They are the ones making the move for Baron, and it feels like this game is swinging back into RNG's control.
They're just trying to get some vision around the objective. They need to reclaim some semblance of control as we see more items being picked up for Uzi. 4 are now completed. Lord Dominic's regard is done, and it's getting to the point in the game where for G2 to be able to win, they're going to have to outplay RNG in these team fights.
But still, they're 10,000 gold ahead. Double Infernal, 4 dragons to 0. They are still in control of this game. They can still close out this game, and they need to take a breath and realize their positioning.
I need to take a breath. Do the same thing as
We all do.
It's unbelievable to see how these team fights are turning, but every time Xiaohu and Uzi are allowed to get damage down, they turn it. Yarnin with the Hella Blades, he manages to get a big proc onto Uzi. He's got the GA completed, and he's starting to heal back up, but look at G2, they keep contesting the vision, they keep pushing it into RNG territory, but RNG always seem to find a way to go back, and G2, they're starting Baron.
And Uzi is chunked out, no summoners this time.
He's going to red buff.
They spotted it now. He's going to come to Baron, but it may not be in time. G2 could just commit for this Baron. We'll see if they do.
The Lantern is going to pull Uzi into the fight really quickly. 3,000 hit points is going to be the focus. Throw down. MLXG will not be jumping back in, but the Death Sentence will find a target. All of a sudden, what it is down. Yes, he managed to get the ultimate off, but it simply isn't enough. Now we have ulti. Look at the Realm Warp. That's going to
Perks over the wall.
Perks is looking for Uzi. Chunks him down to 50%. 3 members of G2 Esports have escaped for now, and Jankos will be the sacrificial lamb. Jankos will go down, along with what did. But 3 members of G2 hold the Baron buff.
They do get the 2 kills, but still, the most important members from G2, the solo laners, will have the Baron buff. If they want to try to go into 1-3-1, this may be their best chance at closing out the game.
But look at the gold. The fact that the 280 carries are even in this massive gold deficit. The fact that Uzi is still has so many items completed means that RNG is still so strong in this game. Wadid drops immediately. G2 recognized in a 4v5, and at this point in the game, they can't win the 5v5, so their goal is to just evacuate. Perks comes so close to executing Uzi, but unfortunately it's not enough, and now it's RNG that's on the push.
G2 are committing to the 1-3-1. You see Perks and Wonder in the side lanes. RNG moving across the halfway point of the map for what seems like the first time in 20 minutes.
Will G2 be able to use the 1-3-1 as effectively as they have done in the previous games? The 500 CS Siva win condition is eerily close, and it is Uzi's Siva in Game 5 of the quarterfinals. G2 Esports, they cannot make a mistake because this gold lead again, it matters less and less, but to their benefit. Elder Dragon's up in a minute, and I need to see whether or not G2 try to prioritize it.
Certainly do, but what other way would you want to see this game decided than the teams committing to the styles that brought them here?
Yep, this is definitely a close one. The fact that RNG putting all of their eggs in the Uzi basket, he is definitely capable of carrying some Perks. The guy that this team was built around, the huge carry for G2. He has all the kills, he has so much gold, and if he can just find that execute, it could be the determining factor in who walks towards the semifinal.
And alternatively, if Ming can find the Flay or the Death Sentence to break open the series, we saw him there almost fishing for Perks. He had the Flail ready that interrupted the distortion. Just looking at the itemization, with the core damage built for Uzi, he's got himself that Hex Drinker as the 5th item, working towards complete build.
And that luxury item finally coming in means so much for his safety against someone like Perks here in these team fights, being able to perhaps survive one round.
All right, Baron empowered minions in 3 different lanes. Cannon Creep's doing a lot of work. Look at how they're melting through the towers. RNG are at risk of actually losing more than 1 turret here. The minion waves have now been cleared out as Uzi's been bopped between top and middle lane. And G2 have got 30 seconds left on Baron.
Yeah, they need to utilize this Baron to at least break into the base of RNG, but even then, at least one more team fight is guaranteed for G2.
Perks might break the top lane here.
G2 playing on all 3 lanes right now.
Perks is going to get a couple more autos with Baron empowered cannon minion. That's the first turret falling. The mid lane should fall maybe. No, there's the engage. Death Sentence onto the cannon creep, delivers a perfect play. GA,
Uzi's down!
Back up, but with Uzi down, it's all on Xiaohu. Xiaohu's running. Look at Perks! Perks has found him. Perks goes golden with the hourglass. They may have just done it.
G2 have just dismantled RNG, and they're going to make their way to the semi-finals!
G2 Esports will find another kill, will tear open the base, and Busan is cheering and screaming and crying. The underdogs reign supreme at Worlds 2018, when expectations were at their lowest. The G2 dynasty will be defined by taking down RNG. There are not enough words to describe the results of today's quarterfinals.
They did it! G2 actually took down RNG. I cannot believe that they were able to do it. the third seed from Europe, having to fight their way through the play-ins after, before that, even losing in the quarterfinals of the European LCS playoffs, to now getting through group stages off the back of a Heimerdinger, and then winning at the very end off the back of Perks and hit this fantastic G2 squad.
And it's at Worlds where legends will fall and new ones will rise up and be born. And we see Perks today